and this is the latest in our Google Hangout with Sigma Xi distinguished lecturers. Today we're going to be talking with Todd Surovell, Associate Professor and Director of the George C. Frison Institute of Archaeology and Anthropology at the University of Wyoming. This Google Hangout in particular is sponsored by the Research Triangle Park chapter of Sigma Xi, and thank you folks very much for that. And anyone listening can send in questions by typing them into the sidebar at the right. We'll also be live tweeting this Google Hangout, and you can follow that or join in with your own tweets at hashtag #AmSciGHO. Okay, and one more thing, Sigma Xi members can go to the community page afterwards and submit follow-up questions you may not have time to ask or that you think of later, and we will get them to Professor Surovell. Professor Surovell, thank you very much for joining us. We're happy to have you here to talk to us about two very intriguing and, on the surface, unrelated lines of research. One is the way that people use their living space and how the artifacts that they leave can let you map how they did use their living space in archaeology. And the other topic is what happened to the mammoths of Wyoming. Let's start with the living space, because you've just come back from working on that. You've just come back from Mongolia, I understand.
That's correct. Well, thank you for having me. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak with you and everybody out there. Yeah, on January 15th, I came back from a short field season in northern Mongolia where I worked with Dokha reindeer herders. These are among the southernmost reindeer herding peoples in the world, and they live in far northern Mongolia, just about 40 miles from the border with Russian Siberia.
What's the weather like there? Is it winter all the time? When I hear Siberia, I think of winter.
That's a great question. I was there from December 21st to January 15th, and it was the coldest weather I had ever experienced. It's not particularly far north. It's about 51 degrees north latitude, which is equivalent to southern Canada. But the winter camps where the reindeer herders live are about 5,400 feet above sea level. The warmest temperature we saw was minus 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest was minus 44 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness.
In the summer, it gets up into the 60s, and at night it freezes, about every other night, and that's the warmest time of year. So it's a chilly place. Wow.
And how long is the summer in comparison to the winter? Is it very short?
Yeah, that's well, I don't know. I'm not terribly familiar with the Dokha seasonal classifications when they consider summer to start. I know that they move to their summer camps around the middle of June, or the early to middle June, and they move to their fall camp in late August. So June, July, and August, pretty much 3 months when they're in what they call summer camp.
I noticed in some of your background material, you mentioned that they move 2 to 8 times per year. This seems like a large range of number of times to move. 2 times a year seems strictly seasonal. 8 times a year, not clear what would motivate that. What would be other reasons for moving?
Well, when you're talking about, these are nomadic reindeer herders, and the primary reason that pastoralists are herding people's move is to renew the forage for their animals. Their animals need to graze. So that there's really 2 typical cycles that we've observed for the Dokha. One is 4 camps per year: a summer camp, a fall camp, a winter camp, and a spring camp. And the other typical pattern is that some people move to the taiga in the summertime where they herd reindeer. But for the rest of the year, they move to town or near to town, particularly families that have school-age children who have to go to school in town, and they leave the herd animals to be tended by others. In the case of moving more than 4 times per year, I'll give you one example. I was living in a fall camp in 2014. This was in a very, very remote area. And there was a serious problem with wolf predation. The family I was living with lost 6 animals to wolves, which prompted them to move about 30 kilometers away to another valley where they thought they could get away from the wolves. And certainly nomadic peoples moving is a big event, but it's not nearly as big of an event as it is for us. So they're capable of having a very flexible settlement system and will move when the situation benefits them to do so.
Okay. And how large a group would be moving together as a group, typically?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in a Dokha camp, you'll have anywhere from 1 household to up to 9. And those, each household will be an autonomous family unit, and they tend to behave somewhat independently. So, for example, when I visited the summer camp in 2012, where we had 9 families living there.
What should I do? Okay, excuse me. We're having some technical problems, so we're going to pause for a minute and try and sort those out and come back to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey Todd, it's Heather.
Hi, Heather.
So what happened is the Hangout started live. Sandy did everything right, but for some reason the Google Hangout is not broadcasting. Nobody can see or hear you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new Hangout, and I'll give you a new link for that, and hopefully that will kick it in. I haven't had this problem before. I'm not sure why this is happening, but
Okay.
yeah, if you'll just stand by for a minute, I'll email you a new link.
Sounds good.
Okay, sorry about this. Hold on.
No problem.